This is the seal of Pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb, about to be opened for the first time in 3,245 years. But when the seal is finally broken and archaeologists step inside, something incredibly bizarre happens. The moment they uncover Tutankhamun's mummy, terrifying rumors begin to spread. Rumors that they have unleashed a deadly pharaoh's curse. Now, like you and me, most people back then called it complete nonsense. But then, the people who first stepped into that tomb and touched the mummy started dying one by one. How were these people dying? Was the curse actually real? And more importantly, who was Pharaoh Tutankhamun, and how did he become the most famous pharaoh ever discovered? You are about to find out. Let's start with Tutankhamun, often called King Tut. He was an ancient Egyptian pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, ruling from 1332 to 1323 BC during the New Kingdom period. This period is unique because it started 1,200 years after the Great Pyramids of Giza were built. While older pharaohs built massive pyramids, pharaohs of King Tut's era preferred hiding their tombs deep underground. Tutankhamun became a ruler at just 9 years old. Ironically, even though he is the most famous pharaoh today, he wasn't actually a powerful or important ruler during his lifetime. First, he died at the young age of 19, ruling for only 9 to 10 years. Second, modern examinations of his mummy reveal he suffered from severe genetic disorders and health issues, including a disabled right leg. Compared to other kings, his tomb was actually quite small and ordinary. So why did his tomb remain completely lost for over 3,000 years? There are a few reasons. Since King Tut wasn't a major king, people simply forgot about him. He was buried in an area called the Valley of the Kings in Luxor, where royalty and nobles were laid to rest in subterranean chambers. This is the same valley where Ramesses II was found, the pharaoh believed to be the Pharaoh mentioned in the Quran, verified by sea salt traces in his mummy showing he drowned. Now, most tomb entrances in this valley were clearly visible, meaning they were exposed and looted throughout history. But King Tut's tomb was different. It wasn't in the main area. After his burial, later constructions were built right above it. His tomb entrance was accidentally sealed off by tons of debris and rubble, wiping his name clean from history for thousands of years. The story of how it was found is incredible. Howard Carter, a passionate British archaeologist, spent 7 years searching the Valley of the Kings. He kept finding minor artifacts pointing to a missing pharaoh whose final resting place had never been found, Tutankhamun. Carter's expedition was funded by Lord Carnarvon. But after 7 years of zero results, Carnarvon called Carter and said, "Enough is enough, I am stopping the funding." Carter begged for one last chance, asking for just 1 more year. Lord Carnarvon agreed. On November 1, 1922, Carter resumed the dig. Just 3 days later, his team was digging near the tomb of Ramesses VI when they struck a buried stone step beneath the mud and sand. Clearing it away, they realized it was a staircase leading straight down into King Tut's tomb. Carter immediately summoned Lord Carnarvon, and together they broke through the final door. Inside, they discovered over 5,000 pristine artifacts, including dismantled royal chariots, priceless jewelry, furniture, ancient weapons, and the royal mummy itself. Instantly, King Tut became a global sensation. Why? Because unlike every other tomb in the valley which had been heavily robbed, King Tut's tomb was perfectly preserved exactly as the ancient Egyptians left it. Among the treasures was his golden mask, a masterpiece of pure gold and lapis lazuli found directly on the mummy's face. There was a beautifully detailed golden throne, and his body was nested inside 3 golden coffins, the innermost made of solid, pure gold. Yet, archaeologists noticed a strange detail. The tomb walls were painted in a massive hurry. There are visible paint splatters and rough work, showing they rushed to close the tomb as if they ran out of time. Why the rush? That secret died with them. Now, let's talk about the curse. On the exact day King Tut's mummy was uncovered, a cobra broke into Howard Carter's home and swallowed his pet bird inside its cage. Bizarrely, King Tut's golden mask features that exact same cobra right on his forehead. The crew panicked, whispering about a curse, but most laughed it off as a coincidence. Just 4 months later, the financier Lord Carnarvon was bitten by a mosquito on his cheek. While shaving, he accidentally nicked the exact same spot. The cut became heavily infected, leading to fatal blood poisoning. The most terrifying coincidence? When medical experts examined King Tut's mummy, they found an identical insect bite mark on the exact same spot on the pharaoh's cheek. Global media went into a frenzy, screaming that the pharaoh's curse was active. And the deaths didn't stop there. In 1923, millionaire George J. Gould died of a sudden, severe fever shortly after visiting the tomb. In 1928, Arthur Mace, a key member of the excavation team, died mysteriously from arsenic poisoning. Just a year later, Carter's personal secretary also passed away suddenly. People spun endless theories, claiming an invisible Egyptian guard was killing anyone who dared disturb the dead pharaoh. The target seemed to be anyone associated with Howard Carter's team. But if the curse was real, how did Howard Carter survive? The very man who tracked down the tomb and pulled the pharaoh from his sleep lived for another 16 years, eventually dying at the age of 64 from Hodgkin's lymphoma disease. This completely shatters the curse myth. In reality, out of the 52 people present when the tomb opened, only 8 died within the first 12 years. The curse was just a sensationalized story used by media outlets to sell papers and grab attention. Despite the media hype, the discovery of King Tut's tomb remains one of the greatest archaeological achievements in human history.